everyone, this is Shel from Paper Octio Studio, and today I have my index cards 35 through 38. That first one that you just saw, I tried to record it and it recorded 27 seconds and it was like this repetitive, jerky, weird thing. So I'm doing the same technique that I did on that one, only that first one I used masking tape torn into strips to mask it. Then I put the versamark over that. This time I'm using a stencil, and then I'm using the versamark ink, which is just basically an embossing ink. It's sticky. Anything that you put on it will stick to it. And then I'm using my pan pastels to pat color over the top of it, and the color sticks to the sticky ink. And that's basically the whole technique right there. I used to do this a lot when I was a Stampin' Up demonstrator. This was one of my favorite things to do with the chalk set that we had back then. And pan pastels are a type of chalk, although much better, much better. So now I'm going to do the same thing with this other stencil and the little hummingbird and the flower. I really like hummingbirds, and I saw another one today, so it kind of reminded me of the hummingbirds. If you watch the Frugal Crafter channel, Lindsay Wyrick, she did this technique just the other day and it reminded me of it. So thank you, Lindsay, if you're watching. I know you're not. But if you were, thank you for reminding me of the technique of using the Versamark with the chalk, because I'd forgotten about it till I saw it on your channel. So now I'm using a tool, and again I'm using a patting motion. Pat, 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 pat. I'm not rubbing because I would smear the sticky ink and that would make a mess. So I'm not smearing it until at the end, when it's already like soaked in, when it's already the ink has absorbed the chalk powder. Then I can rub over the top of it and kind of burnish it in so that it's sealed somewhat. So then with those two little pieces, I'm fussy cutting them out. I sped that up to 8 times fast, and it just looks hilarious to me. I wish I could cut that fast. I hate cutting things out. Oh, I hate it. And then I'm just auditioning them in different positions on the card. I'm trying to decide, where should I put them? Where should I put them? Finally decide on that. Get out some Aleene's tacky glue, and I'm gluing them down. I need the little beak to be kind of going for the flower center, so I had to kind of wiggle them around a little bit. And that's something I like about tacky glue. You have a little bit of time to wiggle it before it becomes stuck on there real good. But once it's stuck, it's stuck. So now I have my fine tip white Posca, and I'm just adding some highlights here and there just to make it pop out a little bit more. Then I've got stamping ink. This is archival ink, and I'm stamping on some more flowers because it still just seemed dull and boring. And then I grab a Stampin' Up ink pad for the yellow and put the centers of the flowers. Then I have my green medium tip, and I'm just drawing some vines, some like little swirly vines. And then I'm going to highlight the whole thing with the white Posca, and that will be it for this card. So here comes your close-up. For day 37, I had this little piece of a jelly print from Happy Meal I got recently from my friend Peg, and I decided to use it as the basis of my card. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't have a plan. So I just decided to glue this onto my card. It says day 36. It's supposed to be day 37. I have 2 36s now. I never know what day it is, ever. Like, is it Wednesday? I don't know. I just never know. So once I have that glued down, I go around the edges with the blue ink just to kind of frame everything in, because that one edge was really light. And then I'm just kind of sitting there going, what should I do? What should I do? And I decided to get this little bin, which is stuff from my desk. I have a little series that I was working on, which I haven't made anymore because I've been doing iCads, but it's using up stuff that's just sits on my desk. Because you know, the pile gets bigger and bigger and bigger of all these little things that you think you might use sometime. And so I started making tags with things that are on my desk. But today I'm going to make an iCAD with things that are on my desk. So this basket is just got a bunch of stuff in it, and I'm just pulling out things, you know, little scripts and scraps and things that have been lying around in this basket. I had it kind of cleared out, and then it got more in it. So I'm just kind of winging it here. I decide I'm going to use this tag because it's red and blue, like the background, but I cut it down because it was way too big. It just overwhelmed everything. And then I am just kind of laying things out. I really love to do collage, you know this. I love gluing stuff together, and this is different than what I do with my paper paintings. This is just putting different elements together into a pleasing composition. So with my little cut down tag, I put on some string that came from somewhere I don't even know, but it's red, white, and blue, which matched the iCAD, and also this little, a couple little stamps and airmail sticker from a package from somewhere. And then these little circles are from some project I did, and I punched out a bunch of them and didn't need them all, so they just get thrown in the basket. And now I'm thinking, okay, I kind of got a mail or travel type theme going on here because of the stamps and the Par Avion sticker and all that. So kind of sticking with that. Also, in the United States, our priority mail system uses red, white, and blue. So it just all seemed to kind of come together with the stuff that I had on my desk. So I used some archival ink to go around that tag to make it stand out a little bit more, and then glue it down. And I also put some embroidery thread that was tied around some things I got in Happy Mail. And I just stuck that down with liquid gel. Liquid gel. No, liquid matte medium, not gel. Liquid. I'm kind of tired. I've made a lot of videos today. I have to get ahead because I'm going out of town at the end of the month. So, these feathers were from another project, and I thought airmail, air, feathers, flying. So that all seemed to make sense to me too. So I edged them with the archival ink and then stuck them down, kind of sticking out from behind the tag as if it's being carried away by a bird or something. Then that last little corner, I was looking for something else, and I thought I was going to use another circle, but then I found this little playing piece from the Monopoly game at McDonald's, and it had a railroad on it, and I thought sometimes maybe mail goes by rail. So, oh look, I made a rhyme. Rail goes by mail. Ha ha. Yes, I'm very tired. Anyway, this is going to be my last one for the day. So I've got my fine tip Posca, and I'm just making some like little stitching marks around the tag to make it come forward, and then I'm putting some veins on the feathers and some other little scribbles and doodles and whatever with my white pen. And then after that, I get the red pen and I just do splatters with it, because if you shake these Posca pens, they will splatter like that. So red splatters, and there's your close-up. That was pretty fun. Now this is a card from the other day that I cleaned up some paint with. I didn't want to waste the paint, so I just scraped it onto a card, and I'm just going to use this one and paint over it, kind of letting that paint be in the background. It'll show through a little bit, but not very much when I get done. I was looking through Pinterest and I saw a painting of a painted pony, a horse that's been, you know, painted with war paint or whatever, like they did way back in the day. And I felt like painting that. I liked it, so I felt like trying to paint something like that on an iCAD. So I get out my Decoarts Media line paint. That's their fluid paint. It's highly pigmented. Really like it. I have it in a bunch of 1 ounce bottles, and so I'm going to use that to paint my little horsey. I'm doing this in a very what they would consider painterly fashion. I think that's kind of dumb. A painter paints in a painterly fashion, but loosely, uh, not fussy. Just kind of trying to get the colors in the places they should go. I could have done collage instead, but I just decided to just paint, like for real paint. So I've got a little bit of white gesso over there that I had filled in the horse just to kind of knock back some of that blue and turquoise colors. And I'm blending that with yellow oxide, raw sienna, and burnt sienna. Then I'm bringing in some carbon black and a little bit of, oh no, that's not, that's what iron oxide, red iron oxide, and quinacridone gold. Those two colors. I will put all the materials that I used on these 3 cards in the description box below. That's where it says see more down there, with links to where you can find it. Later, when I upload this, I'll do all that. And so yeah, I just keep going back and forth, putting colors here, putting colors there, trying to get the effect that I wanted. I'm still not 100% happy with it. Probably never will be, because I'm not gonna touch it up or anything. These iCads are meant to be, something quick that you do each day, and so overly fussing is probably not really the intention. And I did fuss too much on this one. I just kind of kept going back and forth, trying to decide where my shadows and highlights and things should be, and is the shape right, and the feathers should have been blowing out more. If the pony was running, it would be like the feathers would be blowing out more, and they're hanging down, but yet the mane is blowing out, so it's yeah, just a thing. I think it's still cute, even though it's not exactly what I wanted. But it's just an index card. It's not fine art, so I need to not fuss about it. So now is when I've got the carbon black, and I'm kind of blending it with the burnt sienna and trying to add a pretty dark shadow underneath the horse's face, where the neck would be very dark underneath. And that's one dark shadow. I didn't probably need to make it that dark. But I didn't have a darker brown, so I was trying to mix black and brown together to try to get a dark brown. So that's how I got that dark. So then, of course, I had to lighten everything back up again by adding some more colors. This would be like a... what kind of pony would this be? One of those spotty ones. I can't think of it right now. I do know this, but I just can't remember right now. I'm like I said, I'm tired. So I wanted it to have like dappled spots on it. So I'm adding those in, and that kind of lightens up where that very dark shadow line was. And I think it has a stripe down the middle of its face, so I'm trying to maintain the white in the middle of its face to give it that look. And then I start kind of painting on the painted part, which the war paint or whatever it is. And fussing with the feathers. Then I'm trying to make these stripes darker on one side and lighter in the middle, so that they look more like they're rounded, because the stripes would be rounded over the horse's face. Obviously his nose would not be flat, and it looked very flat. So I added some darker and some lighter. Then I decided to work on the mane, so I get a finer brush, a very fine little detail brush, and some white, and just start adding some highlights to try to make the mane look more dimensional, like it's flying in the wind. And then the rest of the titanium white, I'm just like kind of adding highlights in different places. Then I decide that there's should be a shadow around the horse's eye because your eye socket or a horse's eye socket would sink in. So I'm trying to add that shadow. So if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment. Subscribe if you haven't already. That doesn't cost you anything, and you don't miss anything if you are subscribed. And share it if you want to on Facebook, or pin it on Pinterest if there's some ideas in here that you want to use in the future. That's cool too. So I put the little red paint around his eye, and then I just spend the rest of the time kind of fussing. I decided maybe he has some mane hanging down on his forehead or something, because I didn't like that, and I still couldn't decide if that was an ear or if it was part of its mane up at the top. I think it's an ear, but I wasn't sure if the ear should show or if it was in the right position, and this is just fussing now at this point. So thank you guys for watching. This is all the way up to day 38, so there's only, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 more videos of index cards. I don't know, 5 more. And you guys have been very supportive of me doing this challenge and kept me on track, because everyone seems very positive about my videos about the iCads. So I will keep doing them until we get to day 61, and then I'm not going to do any iCads anymore for a while. I'll tell you that much. So that's it for me. Thank you for watching, and bye-bye.